Narayan. Greetings, Steve.
Yes,
So, so today, one was curious about this common concept and notion that we are presented in this world, but we are all human beings. We are all equal on this plane. Everyone basically is at like kind of the same playing level, or we all have the equal Bill of Rights. Even in the United States, we have this kind of thing that kind of this
yeah,
perspective, right? That we all
it-
have
yeah,
equal thing to freedom and
yes,
um, right for land or something like that. So, um,
yes, yes,
what is the right perspective to have on this topic?
right. Like the thing, what um, is the reality is when people speak about a human being, they are talking about the human bodysuit, the the one with the two eyes and one nose and two ears and all these two hands. This bodysuit is what they're referring to, but that is the human body. Now there is a component to that word human being. That's the human body, and then the being. Now the being which is inside this human body, which is using this bodysuit, this human bodysuit.
Right,
Now that being is not the same. There are
right,
all these different kinds of beings out here on earth using the human bodysuit. And different in what way? First difference is that they can be coming from very different places. Okay, different places means they can be coming from a higher realm. Okay, there are many higher realms. They can be coming from lower realms and many lower realms. Okay, so they can be first. They can be coming from a totally different place. So if they're coming from totally different places, they're totally different aptitudes, natures, everything.
right.
Okay, some might be coming from human birth as well in the past, that they were coming from human birth also reincarnate. They're in the reincarnation cycle of
Right.
earth and they're coming back. And the second thing is that they have different goals and levels of awareness even before they took on this bodysuit. For example, if a being had an animal birth in the last incarnation, okay, and they get a human birth in this one, their consciousness, their awareness, and their sensibility will be very different from a being which had a human birth in the last life
Right.
and the last incarnation and is taking the same birth in this bodysuit again, right?
Yes,
Their
that makes
experience,
sense.
their nature, their consciousness will be very different, right?
Yes,
So all kinds of beings can be here from all parts of the universe and
yes,
even on Earth from different species.
right.
Okay, so we have quite a
That's right.
crowd of different types of beings which are using this human bodysuit.
Yes,
Okay, so that's an important thing to understand here first. That's you know this is a falsity that we are all the same.
right,
The fact is so vastly different from that. The fact is no one is the same. That's the fact.
right.
Okay, okay.
And we don't hear
So
that
it
from
might be
any
the common.
other perspective. Like the Vedic really is sharing that with us. So interesting.
Yeah, yes, and because it creates a lot of complications and confusions for beings, out there because they don't
Yeah,
know how to be. If you classify everybody as a human being, then you have an expectation of the same behavior or the same nature from everyone, like
right.
a same basic level of code of conduct. But since beings are so different in their internal beingness out here, they will not stick to that code of conduct.
Right.
Okay, and then people will be very surprised. You know,
Yeah.
very very surprised. So the appropriate dealings within beings cannot take place unless this fact is understood, because there cannot be any appropriateness to dealings. Okay, once you understand that all beings are different, that they're coming from different levels of power, different
Mhm.
levels of evolution, different levels of experience, different levels of knowledge, different levels of everything,
Yes.
then you are much more equipped to handle being to being interactions. Okay, and the appropriateness in them. Okay, it's
Yeah.
very hard to be appropriate when you don't even understand this basic concept. All beings are very different in terms of all those markers, you know. So that's what creates most of the problems which beings face in interpersonal relationships on Earth.
Right. Yeah, I mean that's so foundational in being able to gauge or modify how you interact with others. To have that concept that even is possible or is the case. So that's really interesting, cool. And so
Yeah.
what is equal, I guess, amongst beings? Like in terms of like that, what is equal or what is equality? Like where does that
Yes.
exist in
Okay.
others?
Okay. Okay. What is equal is that you have a body tool,
Right.
okay, through which you can do actions, and you have the free will to
Yes.
do the actions you please through this body
Right.
suit. That's all.
Yes.
Nothing more.
Right.
That's and what beings should choose to do with this bodysuit again depends on their level of consciousness, awareness, all these things, you know, and their
Right.
goals. Right?
Yes.
That's how they will use the bodysuit. Okay. Right. So,
Right.
But there's a free will as much as can be within the confines of the system.
Right.
Here, you know, whatever the system is present and prevalent, that you can use your bodysuit to do actions as you please, you know. So
Yes.
that's with the consequences of it. You see, all actions have consequences, so you are responsible for the consequences of your actions, but you're free to do the actions first. That's the
right. And the actions most beings will choose will kind of depend on like their level of consciousness or even the background that they're coming from as far as like
yes,
if they're coming from
yes,
higher level.
yes,
Kind of.
and their goals and their future goals.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, their goal. Do they want to
Yeah,
evolve?
where they're coming from,
Yeah.
where they're coming from, and their future goals.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
So when people are dealing with anybody out here, they should not think that we're just dealing with a human being. There's no such specific thing called a human being. Right. Okay. There are beings of all kinds of types. I mean, there are labels in the way for different kinds of beings, but I'm not going to use the labels. I'm just going to say that there are all kinds of beings out here using the human body suit.
Yes.
Just because you are looking at the human body suit, don't think or don't get under the impression that you're dealing with the same thing.
Right.
That's the illusion.
Yes.
Okay.
They always say, don't judge a book by its cover. So there's different content on the inside of all the books.
Yes. There's much more. So, and like the beings here, I have so much difference in terms of everything internally. Right. You know what I'm saying? And in a level that, you know, the atmas which are here, the beings which are here, they are so vastly different from each other in all ways that it'll be completely foolhardy. Treat everyone the same or deal with everyone the same. They cannot be a bigger fall than that.
There's a lot of potential problems that can just arise, right? Just from that type of mindset.
Yeah. So. Yeah. All appropriateness will go out of the window. Basically. By these, you know, things which are sort of memes which are floating around the earth about human beings and interactions among human beings and what they are. So
yeah. Well, that is a really great clarification, and like we said, like we don't hear it from anywhere except for the Vedic, and your presentation of that knowledge is just really found. Really grateful for you.